Okay, what's up, guys? This is Dan with the Bullish Bears team. I'm going to be doing the pre-market analysis for you guys today. Probably stay on for a little while during live trading session as well. Got my screen set up. It's kind of I'm trying out a new monitor I got recently, and I decided that I needed another one for my stand-up desk station. So kind of got a lot of things crammed in here for you, but this is where I feel comfortable doing my live streams versus my sit-down desk. So kind of have to go with it for now. But so let's jump into it, guys. So over here I've got our watch list from last night. We sent this out last night. This is all our day trading stocks over here, and then down here you guys are going to see that I have the swing trade watch list. So we'll keep an eye on these throughout the day. Actually, you guys can't see them, so I'm going to drag them into the frame real quick. You can see the swing trade one. There you go. And then I also have an ES chart up, so we'll kind of be checking that as well. That's over here, but I've got that off the side. You guys can't see that. So let me drag that out of the way. And let's go and look at the gappers. So first thing I checked this morning was NEAT. Earnings today. So traded this one a lot. It's I've already got my custom Fibonacci grid up on it, and just to show you guys the longer term history of NEAT. You know, NEAT low, high, bounced, and it's been bouncing off this blue line, which is a 50% retracement level, which it sometimes likes to hit fast and furiously. So what I'd be looking for with NEAT today, we're already above that 835 mark on NEAT. So I'll be looking for NEAT to trade up to 862 range, and then above 862 to 891. But we're really going to have to wait and see, you know, what day traders do with this one, right? So if it gets volume, if the pattern's nice, but you can see when it gets up to this 835 level, it's got a tendency to hit this 862 level really quick, right? So it's gotten up here, bam, hits it quick, pulls back, trades in this box, and then goes up to the next one. So these are just grids that I look for, you know, my long and short positions. And let's go to the 5-day, 5-minute. So here you go. There's your 862, 863 level. So we'll keep an eye on NEAT. This will hit the you know, the high day scanner. If it's running, NEAT will definitely pop on this one. But we'll just keep an eye. And I already have NEAT actually added to our watch list for today. So that is over there. Let's take a look at CLWT. CLWT made a nice high pre-market, and really since it opened, and it's just been consolidating since. So let's do a quick fib retracement on it right here. All right, so it pulled back to that 50% level. That's that $4 mark, bounced, and I'm gonna throw some angular support on it. So I'll be looking for this trend line to be tested at some point, potentially today. You know, this right now has some downward momentum, so it's really just trading inside this angle. And again, we'll have to see what it happens once we get started. Let's take a look at the daily, and I'm gonna load my study set, and let's do simple chart. There we go. All right, now I got my moving averages up. Excuse me, guys. Meant to mute that. Okay. All right, let's look at this. All right, yeah, so this actually got above the 200 SMA, pulled right back down below the 200 SMA, so we'll have to look. If this starts trading above the 200, which is at 321, that could be really nice. We've got some resistance, candle resistant, wick resistance right around here at 370. So if we zoom in, we can see that we're well above that right now. We're well above that. So this could really yeah, sorry about that, Jag. Yeah. I cleared it out. So whatever it was, that heavy cough got it out. So sorry about that, guys. So this one could really rip. Someone just typed in the chat room XENE. So we're going to pull up that. So if you guys are watching and you're not in our chat room, that's where we're doing all our chatting. That's why we have the stream super chat turned off. So if you guys want to join us, head over to bullishbears.com. You guys can sign up for $10 and you can join in on the fun. That's where a lot of the the trades are being posted, and we're working like a team to try to find stocks that are moving and find the support and resistance. Where are the entry zones? Where are the exits? And pretty much throughout the day, we're all posting charts and calling off stuff to watch and having fun. So XENE 5-minute chart starting to get above VWAP here. You can see a little bit of this actually isn't a very clean resistance line. Let me remove that. And let's throw a price level right here. Yeah, so we got a little bit of resistance in this zone right above 710. But this is pretty much a perfect setup where all the moving averages were nice and tight on a 1-minute chart. You got an news-driven event, whether it's earnings or whatever, sent this up, news, and now it's kind of trading sideways, light volume, and we'll have to see what it does above this 710 range. I'm actually going to set an alert for this one at 710. There we go. All right, so what else do we got here? I was looking at Delt last night. Let's see. All right, so let's find out. So we definitely have some resistance right here, right? And it looks like we broke above it, but this thing could collapse right back down. Not a big range on this one, $1 to $1.35. Doesn't have a history of really ripping that much, so we will keep searching. Epics. I'm gonna take a look at Epics in a second. Hang on one sec, guys. All right. APIX. All right, so Epics had earnings. Oh, look at that. Must have been a reverse split. This is 10 cents. That can't be right. So let's find some horizontal resistance on this. We've got a couple different zones right there. Let's look at the daily. And this is when I'm going to go to my fib tool and just go back to recent history. This was making lower lows, so I'm going to go back to here, to this level, down to this 10-cent level here, and try to find the 50% level, which it's well above it right here. But you can see right here I have these extra levels, and look at that, it dojied right off of it. So that's why I like this fib tool. I spent a lot of time on it. I use geometric angles, and I did a video on how to use this tool. So if you join, you guys can check it out. Members only videos. All right, so let's look. SGLB. It's got a nice gap on it. Let's see, that's another earnings. Not too much volume, and it pretty much stopped right there. That's an old trend line. I don't use blue anymore, but it's a really old chart, so there it is. And I like to extend my trend lines off into the distance, so that's where you guys will see them actually run into them. So I'm going to skip this one. I'm not really going to chart that one too heavy. We'll see what it does. VLRX. I think VLRX is a former runner. Okay. Not a lot of volume on that one either. Okay, that time I muted it, so I had to clear my throat again. Let's go. Let's look at this next one. I'm going to pull up futures real quick just to kind of see where we're at. So let me just show you guys real quick on my futures chart. The futures were in this rising wedge pattern, and they hit this geometric fib level. Popped out of it, and I got the hourly chart here. When I see the 50 SMA start getting above price, a crossover like this on the hourly chart, that's a very bearish sign for me. I had some horizontal resistance right here. I had this highlighted earlier. I was expecting this trend line to get tested at some point, and you know, once it did, that's the first target. I actually sold a SPY call, bear call spread here yesterday, and you know, so my next target for, you know, futures and SPY would be to, you know, test this 2690 level. So let's look at SPY. All right, so this might be a little messy. Let me just do this real quick. Okay, same scenario, right? Got the 50 SMA in the hourly. I expect SPY to come down and test 270.60 today. And you know, and then my next level is this 50% retracement level at 267.43. So we'll have to see if SPY ends up trading underneath this type of angular resistance, right? You know, but it does have support way down here. It's also got a little bit, you know, in here. So we'll be looking at this one today, and possibly TVIX will be in play. I know a lot of traders in our room like to trade TVIX. As you can see, I do too. I've got a zillion lines on it, and TVIX is really at that same inflection point on the hourly chart. I like to use the hourly a lot. It's right up against that 50 SMA. So, all right, guys. So we're about 4 minutes to open. I'm gonna move some charts around here. Move my screen around a bit and get adjusted. I don't have a lot of real estate for this live stream, so I'm just gonna move my momentum scanner in, and I think all eyes right now are gonna be on CLWT, which is really just trading sideways right here at this 460 level. I also think NEAT might be a good one. And let's see, I didn't really get down here. UAVS has made some moves recently. So I think this one might we want to keep an eye on as this as well. You know, not a real big mover, but we'll watch that. So I'm gonna switch over to oh, I typed that in wrong. CLWT. Keep an eye on this. This is already getting some selling volume here. And I'm going to reset my trade ideas real quick. Okay, there we go. So we're really just waiting for the bell, guys. We're going to be looking for, you know, break a resistance, break a pre-market high, break out of this right angle, and then we've got our stop and go levels on the custom fib. So we'll see what happens, and then we'll just kind of watch the scanner and see what's going on. I'm actually going to draw. This is important right here too. See this right here? This was a pivot point. So when it started to sell and it put in this kind of red hammer here, price started going up. This is where I'm going to draw my angular support. So, you know, we might see this get tested here, but as this gets tighter inside this triangle, we'll be looking for price to go up or go down. Not sure if shorts are available on CLWT. You guys check and see if this says shorts available. Oh yeah, you know what? I wanted to look at this one earlier, HTBX. Somebody just mentioned this one. It's a very algo driven stock, but it looks like some retail is buying today. So, you know, this is kind of angular support, and there's the bell. So let's see, somebody already went long UAVS. All right, so SROL is getting some vids here. Okay, so this had earnings today. So the first thing I'm going to do, whoops, there we go. First thing I'm going to do, if I haven't charted this, is look at this channel. So this is an old chart. This is coming off the bottom of the channel. It's trading above the 200 and the 50. And I'm going to throw some fibs on this real quick. So there you go. It's up to the 50% level. It's actually trading above it. So now we got some stop and go levels. So 678 is pretty hard resistance right now. Even though it got above it, it dojied back down, right? It's respecting this level. So you might see price right here come back and test the 9 and slowly build up and kind of build at a level underneath this 678 and then push up, and then look at your risk reward. There's your next level up. So, you know, opening range trading, dangerous. As you can see, a lot of volume on the first candle. Look what happens on the second. This is why I'm typically never buying the first candle, sometimes buying the second, and a lot of times I like to buy the third because it's just safer. XENE. All right, so this one, we looked at this morning. This already pulled back to that angular support, and we'll have to kind of see, you know, it's still got this high wave candle here. Maybe this turns into a hammer, and maybe it starts marching back up towards the 710 level. No volume right now, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. All right, so here we go. CLWT. Look at this. It's pushing up towards 520. That's the pre-market high. Actually just closed above it, or not closed, but it's pushing above it. We got 530, 545. So this is where traders are at. We're almost 300,000. We're over 300,000 volume on this candle and climbing. 570. So I need to find. I have minor fibs on this, guys. This is where I need to draw some major fibs. Which is going to be a little bit hard on this one because there's not a lot of price data. I mean, realistically, I have to go. Normally, I'm going much further back to draw these major fib levels. So that's going to line up right about here. Okay, cool. So see this second yellow line? That's the 50% level. So this was the last significant high. This is the last significant low. It happened in only a week, but now we have minor fib levels, which I'm going to change the color of these real quick, and I'm going to change them all to pink. except for this one I'm going to set to blue, just so you guys can see. So I got the minor fib levels, I got the major ones, and 562 is a major. So let's look at it. It got above it. It actually closed right above it right here. So it might actually, if this keeps closing above these fib levels, you got to watch it. So if you're long from here, a lot of people are taking profit in these candles. You know, we're more than 50 cents away from the 9. So let's watch and see what this does. Is this line going to hold? If it does, it's probably going to let the 9 catch up with it and then squeeze it up. And then you have your, you know, your risk reward from, you know, 562 to 632. So I'm going to take a look at, the hourly real quick. So you see that doji, this is trying to close on that. You can get an hourly close on this. This would be really nice. Let's check the 5-minute. So I think this is where it's at right here. Look, it broke out of the triangle. So this is a momentum play. Not a lot of sellers so far. Not a lot. This is going to come back, and it looks like it's going to test 520. Maybe get some dojis down here, but this is showing strong, pretty strong bulls, right? They're coming in and pushing this back up, these long wicks. So let's see if they're just letting the 9 EMA catch up, which is this blue line. Let me get my trend line drawn back on here. We'll see if we can get a pivot point. You guys still seeing me? Somebody just said they couldn't see the feed on YouTube. Just somebody type in the chat. Nice job, Jay. Jay booked 978 profit. Still holding 1,500 shares. Here we go. This is closing. This is closing above. This looks like it's going to close above 562, or it's trying to. Well, and now it's coming down, test the 9. So we're getting all these shadows are coming down, and actually we just got a touch on the 9. So that's a really good play right here. You know, traders are coming in. You're trying to get filled at the 9. Why are they trying to get filled at the 9 EMA? That's where risk is the lowest. You know, if you're buying at the top around this 562 level, this is where risk is the highest, especially because we can't seem to get a green candle above this level. And so that's why people are getting filled down here at the 9. And, you know, they might be taking profit from, I mean, look at the size of these candles, from 530 up to 562. That's 30 cents. You know, these are 30 cent, 35 cent candles that, you know, can easily make your day. So, you know, that's where you set your limit order. You look at the 9 EMA, which is trading at 530 right now. Get filled there, you know, have your hotkeys ready like we talk about all the time, and sell, you know, as close to this level as possible. You know, the second you see this candle here start to doji back down, that's where you're selling. You know, if you're scalping, if you're trying to get along up to, you know, 632, well, then you're holding, and your stop loss is below the 9 EMA if you're trading momentum. So here we go. We got a green candle closing on 562. So that's the first one we've had. I'd like to see it a little bit bigger. But here comes the volume, guys. Here comes the volume, and now there's the push. So there was a signal. Nice bullish candle, got squeezed by the 9 EMA. And now we have a pivot point, right? Here's our pivot point. This is the new momentum line, and this was a kind of an ascending triangle breakout at this point. So now 632 is resistance. Look for 632 resistance, guys. I'm going to stay with this one because this is where all the volume is. We've already got, again, over 300,000 volume on this. That's pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. So 632. Man, I mean, if you got filled at the 9, what is that? 540. I cannot wait to get my other monitor for my setup over here, guys, because I would have my DOS account set up. And eventually I'll show you guys. I'll have my DOS Trader account, and I'll have this monitor spread out a little bit. Maybe I'll start doing pre-market using DOS, because I've been using CME Group. It's a offshore trading account just to try out that uses DOS. It's so far much better than Sure Trader, and there's no PDT rule. It's you know, it's probably the best option for a lot of guys who are you know, strapped with the PDT rule. So I'll be giving you guys lots of info on that. So CLWT is where it's at, guys. It's right now 620, even though it made a high of 625. 620 is really the resistance line right here. I've got my cursor kind of lined up on it. And again, this is going to first test this momentum line, and you're going to see buyers come in, and this is kind of the top. 632 is that major geometric fib level. You know, it might squeeze inside this little triangle here and then push up to 702. Absolutely could with volume like this. Look at the look at these 5-minute candles, guys. Over 1 million volume in the first 5 minutes, and 850,000 in the next, and not much selling volume, under 100,000 so far in this next 5-minute period. This candle just started, so we shall see. Let's go back to the 1 minute. All right, so we're starting to get away from, we're testing this momentum line here. You could easily see this fan out. And what does fan out mean? Fan out means that from the breakout point, you're drawing another trend line. And I'm not going to draw this trend line until I get a pivot point, which means price is going to maybe test the 9 again, and then test, you know, 632, or maybe it just chooses to do another wave and blast right through it and come halfway up to 702. So we're gonna have to see. This could be it. This could be, it actually could be holding this line now. So we're gonna wait. We're getting some okay buying volume, not as much. Great job, Rob. Hopefully we can get you to quit that boring job and just trade with us full time. That'd be awesome, right? So Rob is in our trade room. He's you guys are trading these candles. I'm going to try to guide you guys through this one. Let's look at it. So, and slow everything down. What's happening? So 610. 610 is right now the resistance. Even though I have these fib levels, what are candles telling us? Well, lots of indecision around 610. You can't get a body of a candle closing above 610 right now. A close above 610 would be bullish, and you'd have a little bit of room between 632. I don't see that happening right now. I see the 9 being tested. We've had one wave. We've had 2 waves. Probably get one more wave out of this. You know, making just, 3 waves is pretty standard for the morning, but this could continue to run. But I think a lot of traders are going to be looking for a third wave here. Hopefully it's a decent size one. A lot of times if they're small, that's when you'll see, when the third wave is done, this will start to collapse, and it'll, collapse quickly. So keep an eye on it. What we really want to see here is a green candle to close above 610 on CLWT, and we want a pivot point. We're right at the 9. We're right at the 50% level of the major fib retracement, and it's holding. So that's good. And for all of you that don't know, a 50% retracement is a major pivot area where price is going to react heavily. So this is good. Right now we're riding the 9, and it looks like we're not getting as much volume. 50,000 shares. That's kind of like the minimum, but here it comes, right? So buyers are getting filled. This candle needs to close, like I said, above 610 to really be bullish, right? It's flirting with the idea of closing. So I'm actually going to get rid of this momentum line, and now we fanned out further. This is our next. Because of the volume just tripled from the last candle. This is a really good signal that the volume tripled here, but this could be the beginning of the end for it as well. This could be the last wave for it. It could end up just like trading below 632, even if we get a close at 610, which would be bullish, and we haven't had yet. Look at it. It didn't do it. Maybe it does it here. It doesn't have much room. Either this is the pivot point and it's going to ride the 9, or it's not. We'd like to see this line squeeze it up and squeeze it hard. Make some orange juice, which would be good right about now. Maybe help my sore throat I have. So, looks like some people are still long CLWT, which is great. Here we go. Price action is good, but let's see the volume. I would like to see, this is at it's over 50,000, which is good. That's like the minimum for what I like to see for momentum day trade. Get at least 50,000 shares a candle. Otherwise, it's just going to move slow. There's not going to be, the candles are going to be small. There's not going to be much price action to trade. Jay's crushing it. Jay in our room is he's up 24.50 so far. That's awesome. Okay, so we got the close above 610. That is bullish. Let's see if this squeezes. We need to really see the volume come in. And we want to see the volume kind of triple. We'd like to see the volume triple here. We had 100,000 shares to close on that 610. This is going to get squeezed here. This triangle is getting tight. This right angle, top of the ascending triangle, is this price level at 632. And so far, so good. Got 80,000 shares traded. Let's see if this pushes up. Again, our goal is to sell somewhere, I would say 690. If your entry was a 9. If you're still long this from earlier, this is a ride the 9 strategy, which I talk in the momentum webinar for beginners on our site. This is you haven't had one candle close 50% or greater below the 9 EMA yet. If a candle closes where the body of the candle closes 50% of the candle or greater below the 9, that's a warning sign. For momentum traders, they're going to look at that and go, "Hey, is this coming to an end?" Yeah, let's look at the pattern too. So, this looks like this is one wave. This is a second. This could be the third, and this could be the ending. This could be the ending wave. This could really be the top. So we got to wait. I'm not going to call that yet. This could be a tweezer top forming right here on the 1 minute. We're outside the momentum line, so I would have liked to seen a squeeze. And the selling volume has still pretty much stayed below 100,000 for the most part the last 7 or 8 minutes. So still riding the 9. There might be another pivot point. I'm actually going to remove this trend line now, and let's see if we can get the next pivot point for this to move up higher. Yeah, the volume is great on this. I'm not even looking at other stocks right now because this is where all the volume's at. This is where all the volume's at right here. This is still riding the 9. People are still getting filled at the 9. You know, there's some people starting to get shaken out. This could be a tweezer top right here. But this is a pretty solid candle right here, and they're still pushing it up. You know, tweezer top, you'd like to see actually candle wicks at the top. You know, so this is actually still showing strong bulls, and the selling volume's paltry. You know, you're under 100,000 of selling volume. So I gotta find my ES chart real quick because I need to keep an eye on it. And I'm just gonna pull this over here so you guys can see. This is what I'm monitoring. I still have a bear call spread on SPY, and I'm not planning on selling it until I have to. But I'd like to see it. I'd like to have to close out that trade somewhere along this channel line here. So we'll pull that off to the side. Here we go. All right, so this is the moment of truth. Are we going to close? We want a candlestick to close on 632. Yep, the 9 just keeps getting tested over and over. It's still got pop left in it, guys. There's still there's over 100,000 shares right here. Just bought. We really want to see a close on 632. Candlestick body on that would be nice. We get a candlestick body closing on the 632 level. Right now it looks like 626 is resistance. That's candlestick resistance. It's not fib resistance. So even a candle close above 626. See, it hasn't done it yet. The volume was good on that last candle though, but it's getting less and less. So, you know, more and more people are considering getting out of this trade. So here's what you want to do. That might be the last one. We'll see. This is the watch me candle. Look at the volume. The volume's been going down. Draw a trend line on volume. I'd have RSI and other stuff up, but it would just clutter my chart too much for you guys. I already clutter my charts enough. So let's see. This just dojied off the 20. This could be a lot of longs taking profit. And if this volume candle you know, closes above this trend line, I would be a little bit concerned. So we're looking for this to get pushed back up. So far, decent amount of sell volume. So this is where I would exit the trade if I had gotten in anywhere along the 9. This is where I exit the trade because I'm a momentum trader with day trading. So I'm looking for breakouts. I'm looking to get in close to the 9, ride the 9. I would take profit if I were you guys who bought anywhere in this level. Why? Because lock your gains. You can always get another entry. We're still kind of below this, this volume resistance. So, it could just be really light volume from here until 10. It looks like it's kind of trailing off until 10, and people will start to lose interest and start to take profit if we're not going to close above this 632 level. That's what's going to happen. People get bored. They don't want to stand here and watch, one stock, and if it's not continuing to make moves and just kind of trading sideways and proving to itself, we're not going to move any higher. You've got the 9 curling over. So this is it, guys. This is where you would exit, and wait for it to back test this 562. This could still find another pivot point later. We'll find let's take a look at something else. All right, let's look. Where did this candle close? So this candle closed about 578. And this one, 772. Could still get it done. This candle could certainly, this daily candle could still move up a lot higher today. I don't want to count it out yet. It looks like a lot of people haven't yet. So this is kind of still strong price action. But again, if you're long from here, why wouldn't you start to take profit? The more consecutive candles that close on, with the body on or below the 9 EMA, that's your warning sign, right? All right, let's look at some other stuff. Some guys are calling RKDA. All right, so this one's nice. You got some 50,000 share candles. Let's look at the daily. I've got some retracement on it, and we're right on the. Where's the 200? That's a 2. Oh, we're right on the 200 on the daily. We're right on it, and the 9. So getting some help from the 200 SMA and the 9 EMA on the daily. You know, this is what you would call a almost a 100% retracement play, where, you know, the stock made a significant low in this area, significant high, pulled all the way back, and is kind of bouncing. And it, you know what, this could, for people speculating, they're speculating on a potential 50% retracement, right? Which is a pretty good level way up here at 36.66. However, it's got a lot to overcome. It's got the 20, it's got the 50. So, you know, day traders are probably leading the charge on this more than even some of the swing traders, although there's some swing trading going on. So it kind of like one group brings the other one in, I think, you know. And, you know, this could be a good grinder throughout the day, but a little overextended. You don't want to chase these candles up here. You want to get a fill. Really, you want to buy right here if you're watching this. So just wait for a pattern to form. Don't chase these candles. Again, this could grind up all the way to 13 before it stops, but unless you're getting filled at the 9, guys, I don't like it. You know, you're chasing. You know, you could be instantly in the red as soon as you chase something like that. So let's look at XENE. XENE, super low volume, super low, 5,000 share candles. It's really nothing special, just a little bit of bounce play. You know, broke out of this right angle and, you know, caught back up. Maybe it's going to try to make a play for VWAP, but again, the volume is pretty low. The selling volume has been really since the market opened. There was this high wave candle we looked at earlier, and it's just been trading under the 9, and this is right where it started to get above 9. So you might get a 920 crossover, and then it played a VWAP and the 50 SMA. But for this one, I would honestly want to wait for. Let me get a tight. Try to get a kind of tight angle here. And this is no longer support, so that line's irrelevant. And this actually returned right to the point before it broke out. And you'll see that a lot of times where these junk stocks, you know, get a little bit of buying and then a ton of selling, and then it gets shorted right back to the original support line, original momentum line for this. You know, so this is common. This is very, very common for gappers to go right back, and it did, and then bounce. Not always, but, you know, and so now we're kind of in this descending triangle wedge. A little bit of a wedge, kind of, but again, not a lot of volume on that. So this could be a very boring one to try to trade, to get a VWAP trade. And your risk is right here. Your risk is right here, defined at 640. Your reward 664. But a lot of times these will start to sell off even before they hit VWAP, right? You know, you think it's going to test VWAP, and then it stops at some candlestick resistance area, like right here. It'll stop at 655, and you're waiting for it to go up, and it's already over. So, yeah, VWAP might look a little bit. If this crosses VWAP, that would be a better sign with volume. I'd rather take the 20 cents from 663 area to 686 versus from 641 to 664, because there would probably be greater volume coming in around there. So let's look at CLWT. Let's go back to that one. When volume dies, the trading dies, guys. And look at the death of volume. There it is. There's the slow decline. So I leave these lines up and usually extend to the right, and I'm looking for a candlestick to close above a volume reversal to be included with some other moving average indicator or bounce off of a fib level. And actually, I'm gonna post the YouTube link again in our chat room. Hey Lucian, can you post the YouTube link again in our chat room? I can't figure out where to click on it right now. So, what's going on here? So, CLWT, again, wait for the volume to return and see if, VWAP is right at this 50% of the major fib. Let's see if it, we get a spike in volume. 100,000 share spike would be nice. Show a volume reversal and then maybe another play. Let's look at S-Fun. I remember this stock was I've shorted this stock a lot. Let me look at this. So S-Fun. Let's find the let's go to the daily. Let's go to the daily and see. So, man, it's been super choppy in this range. So I'm going to go to the last significant high and throw the fib on it. It's going to be kind of rough. And now we can kind of see, this is where price is. So if price kind of trades, what I look for is obviously the 9 and 20 to support this and VWAP. But maybe it's going to trade, sideways in this area where it's above the retracement level, but it's got some candlestick resistance. 550 was the high, but really you're not getting a close price above 548. So, roughly 550 candlesticks close with volume would be nice for S-Fun, and here we got almost 200,000 shares. This is actually 170. And this one's about 50. So we need a pivot point, and your risk reward's not that great. I mean, it's 560 to the next level, but if you're buying at the 9, you could get filled at somewhere between 547, 550, make 10 cents. Maybe. So let's look at, I just pulled it up because I hit the high a day scanner. So we want to know what's happening with it. What's the daily? It's above the 200. It's above the, actually, that was a great entry right here, huh? Great swing entry. A lot of people bought off that. Earnings coming up, so probably start to roll over a little bit. Once it approaches 560s, this 100% retracement level, maybe it'll curl back down. Let's go back over to CLWT. See what's happening. All right, not much happening here other than consolidation, waiting for volume. Yeah, I don't have level 2 up at the moment. Don't have level 2 up at the moment just because I'm using one 34-inch monitor and then one smaller monitor to monitor the chat room today and my YouTube stream. So hopefully in the next couple of days I'll have my stand-up desk set up better for live streaming. That's the goal. Got one of those adjustable stand-up desks where I can kind of move around and get comfortable, because being comfortable when you're trading is important, and not sitting all day if you can avoid it, because that's bad for your back. All right, so what do we see here? Volume coming back, breaking. I mean, it had to break. It was going into the ground. So this trend line. So now what we're kind of looking for is for volume to trend the other way, like that, something like that, right? So let's see. These wicks are kind of telling us, you know, a story. Are we going to close? Remember, we need to get a close of a candle above 625. 626 would be really nice. And so far we got 150,000 shares. That's great. That's tradable. These are tradable candles. These are hotkey candles if you want to get in, get out, because they're, you know, they're 10 cents. That's a 10-cent candle right there. And so now we're going to look for price to kind of get up in 625, 626, maybe finally break this 632 and obey it. This is kind of your pivot point now, and this is kind of your ascending triangle, although this could be a little bit of a head, shoulder potentially, and then a move down. You know, VWAP's still down here. VWAP's going to catch up soon if it keeps trending sideways. Same with the 50 SMA on the 1 minute. That a lot of times is a pivot point, so we'll keep an eye on those. Looking at futures over here off to the side real quick. Watching the 5-minute chart. Here's the 5-minute chart of futures. And, you know, this is the down channel. Just kind of a descending wedge a little bit, unless you get real clean with it and go from there. But I always try to look at it from both angles so I'm not caught off guard. So a little bit of a down channel on futures, 5-minute chart, descending wedge. Really, you know, double the selling volume still. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. Right now I'm feeling good about my trade. Let's look at the hourly candle. You know, this, you know, could be signaling a reversal. We'll have to wait until, you know, 11 o'clock and see how that hourly candle closes. But I use the 5-minute. Just so you guys know, I'm a huge fan of the 5-day, 5-minute, and hourly chart for my swing trades. So look at it from other angles. Just when I think I've seen everything, what am I missing? I hate it when I get tunnel vision and get excited about a trade and then something happens I didn't expect. It's usually because I missed something, right? So CLWT still riding the 9. This is that momentum line. We'll see if this momentum line means anything or not. Or pivot line. Not feeling too confident about it right now. And that's when I delete it. So I want to look at the ES again just because I have money in this trade right now. It's the main trade that I have a lot of money in. So I'm going to chart this a little bit better and just make sure. So you can kind of see I have this trend line drawn down here, and I don't remember drawing it. Where did I go back to? Let me see this one. I want to extend this one to the right. Okay, because there's a lot of support in here. There's a lot of support in here. That was the wedge. Oh, I know why I drew this one. So I drew this trend line because, yeah, I drew this trend line because I use the daily chart as well for finding degrees of trend lines. So if you see this one right here, this is, I'll show you guys real quick. I gotta go, it's gonna be a little off, but when I drew it really tight. Yeah, so let me go to here. I might have to redraw this. Let me do that real quick. So I go from the reversal, and I'm going to be looking at a 45-degree angle. That's actually closer to here on a daily chart. And then I also like 26 and a half roughly. So let's go back onto this, and it looks like it's hugged right up against that. And there it is. Look, it's bouncing. 45-degree angle on a daily chart. That's something, that's a little trick I'll share with you guys for keeping your eyes open for trend reversals and pivot points. I mean, I didn't purposely draw this on there. I literally just went to the bottom of the breakout, drew a 45-degree line, and bingo bango, a little bit of a bounce here. I mean, it should have bounced anyways because of what it's doing in this trend line, but we're gonna watch this line now, so I'm not caught off guard and not surprised, because I don't want to be holding my spread and have this ride this area and then get above this orange line. I'm gonna be very disappointed. All right, back to Craig. Seen this one run before. Had earnings today. Lots of volume on the 5-minute. Let's check out these 1-minute candles. And let's get these off. Okay. So, 220. Pretty much respecting this area right here. Looks like Z-San is also running. RKDA, that's the one we looked at earlier. So if you're looking at Craig, you want to get filled at the 9 or close to this lower fib level at 197. Or you're just chasing. Right now, the Bears are protecting 208. And you've got resistance at 220, so there's a 10-cent. But honestly, you want to get filled at the 9. Just let it come back down. You're not going to get in on every trade. But once they start to hit trade ideas, look at the setup. I already had this drawn because we've traded it before. And this one, I basically drew from here to there, right? Significant high, significant low. Might be making a play towards 242 today. Maybe. It can do it. It's done it before. It's done it before in kind of light volume too. So watch Craig. Let's look at Z-San. You guys are talking about Z-San, so look at that. Z-San got it. Z-San's been moving kind of nice. I'm going to go to the daily and try to get some. Let me clear this chart. Try to get a handle on that. So, significant high, significant low. It's starting to reverse. Man, it really held support for quite a while in this area. Looks like her earnings today. Yeah, after market close. So, it looks like maybe some insider trading. Maybe somebody heard they're going to crush earnings and they're buying. It's got to be crazy buying before earnings or really believe in the company. All right. Lone Wolf got in on Craig. He's in our trade room. Let's go back to that. ZSAN, here's the pattern. It just broke out of the triangle. And it's got a ton of room to move on the major. I mean, that's the major retracement. That's a ton. Right? It's got a massive. It's at the 20 EMA. This thing could go up to 650 today if it wants to. Really, the major is all I'm looking at this one, because until this starts to reverse from here, like let's say it reverses, then I'll draw a minor fib and go, okay, here's the significant low. This was the significant high. And my 50% level, I'm going to bet you, is going to be somewhere in this area, like 436, which would make it shortable. You know, an area I would look to short it back to, the 50%. So let's look at Craig again. Yeah, so get filled at the 9. You can see all that support right here at $2. Above $2. So you've got, you know, $2 to 220. And, you know, your risk management is the 9. It's really the 9. And you need a close. You need a candle close above 208. And the volume is dropping a bit. That is a good point. And this is kind of like, this is my volume triangle. I like to go from the top. I mean, I could go like this and keep fanning out, but I feel like that's a little ridiculous. I'd rather see more of a pattern. So just figure out, when you got high volume candles like this and then much lower ones, I need like another candle to come up, whether it's selling or buying, to draw my volume trend lines. So just had somebody ask, what's HOD? That's high a day. So yeah, we're looking for stocks making a new high a day for momentum. Daily breakouts, momentum breakouts, news breakouts. And you know, so far that's where we're at with Craig. I think you guys are under control of that one. I'm going to look at RKDA just so we can kind of talk more about what's happening here. So, great setup on the hourly, 920 crossover above the 50. You guys will hear me say it a lot. I love to see, for swing trading and breakout areas, the 50 SMA be beneath candlesticks with some space. You know, and that's kind of what's happened today. And we've got clear separation from the 50 SMA on the hourly chart, which you can see can look something like this. And then, you know, it's hit this. The last time it did it, it formed a top, came back right back down, and it's really been rollover city and just downtrending since. So that's where I have my right angle. You draw your right angle for your triangle and, you know, make the width bigger so you can see it or whatever. And this is the breakout area. This is where people started to speculate and buy, and now they're being rewarded for that. And now it's got to contend with this 200 on the hourly and 1464, which, you know, is very possible. So look at this 5-minute chart. It's really trading above VWAP on the 5. Let's look at the, really got some space here, obviously, on the 1 as well. And we've got a pivot point. We can go from here. That is your pivot. This is 1 wave. This is 2 waves. This is the 3rd wave. It's probably going to backtest this trend line. That is what I would expect with, that's a pretty straight line. I would expect that to pull back. So Jeremy asked, what is the trend line on volume signal for me? I just draw them really quick because it helps me find pivot points, whether it's buy and sell, because it'll usually coincide with a trend line on my chart or a moving average or VWAP. And I like to see the change in volume because I really want to pay attention to volume. Also look at level 2. It's a lot of things to look at. It takes a while for your brain to adjust to all this stuff. But this is the system that I use. And you figure out the volume trend and then a breakout above the trend. Here you can see right here, we had a volume trend of declining for these first 4 candles and then a pop above it. Well, what happened? There's a lot of selling. And to me, the trend continued again. But I would be nervous at that point that all this selling volume, a lot of dumping being here. This was almost twice the buying volume, that it was going to pull back to VWAP. You know, so if I was long from the breakout, let's say I got the worst entry. These were like watch me candles because they were closing above the 9, but they were really small. And then this was like the buy me candle, the signal that the run is on. A lot of people bought the next one and rode this out. Well, a bunch of them sold right here. And when they did, they kind of reversed the trend, or not reversed, but the downtrend continued. And you had this test, you know, of VWAP and then this pivot point. So RKDA, this candle close is very important. This candle should really, I should have drawn this trend line right at 12, but a close above 12 is bullish, and right now we're pushing 12.12. And what do you see down below? You're seeing a lot of volume reversing. You know, the selling volume is below the trend, the buying volume is above. That's a really good sign. You've got these nice bull flags. This one's a nice one. This one's kind of not so much, but this could be the next flagpole. And I'll show you guys too, just real quick. We'll have to wait till this stops making highs a day to find the 50% retracement level for the minor fib. But an area I would watch for this to pull back to, if this decides to crash today and you want to short it, is this trend line. Go to the 5-day, 5-minute and stretch this out and look for this to, you know, evening star pattern or tweezer top or, you know, gravestone doji, something to just kind of, you know, signal a reversal. And you know, first it would pull back to this angular support right here, right? And then if it breaks 920 VWAP, 50, I know that's a lot to fall through. You really just got to trade candlesticks at that point and say that this is the likely pullback. And of course, what I would do is take my fib tool and get some minor retracement so I could find the 50. Now let's just assume that's the high. I'm expecting, you could see where price actually spent a lot of time oscillating at 1079 ish. I say ish because I didn't draw these really tight. Normally I'll right click on this and edit the price levels, the values, so that it's super tight. And I'm not doing that right now just because I'm going to do things on the fly and teach a little bit. So this trend line breaks, I would expect it to come back to 1079, and then I have my other trend line way down here, right? My angular support. Let me do the 5 minute so it looks a little bit better. My angular support is actually, you know what? Let me draw this better. I was trying to improve what I do. So this was really the first breakout where it started bull flagging. So I'm gonna, whoops, it's not a trend line, Dan. So, yep, there we go. Okay, so let's see. Bulls are protecting 1193. And they're also protecting 1225 on the 5 minute, 1193. So the 5 minute's gonna close any second, actually. Or did it already close? Yep, this one closed, and now we're at this one. So this trend line is gonna get tested, and then we'll see. This would be the goal. If you're shorting, you can short from a break of this trend line down to potentially down to 1079. Nine's rolling over. This is starting to look bearish. Got a kind of a trend reversal on volume, selling volume. Yeah, that's another good assumption to make, is the other shoulder, right? So you would assume that this is going to happen. Here's your left shoulder. Here's your right. This is where we're at right now. If it breaks this area, it might bounce a little in VWAP. Maybe do one of these. And then, like a magnet, it goes back to the 50% of the minor retracement. And then what happens if, this is going to be a very ugly line, but what happens if the shoulder is broken, which is this line, right? The shoulder's broken. This comes down here and breaks this line. We're going to go bing, bang, boom, most likely back to 936 and test that line down here. So I'm not going to save that. Actually, you know what? I am going to save it, and I'm going to share it. I'm going to share this real quick on StockTwits, guys, because I do a lot of our StockTwits. So if you're not following me on StockTwits, please do. We're Bullish Bears community, and I post a lot of good charts there. So I'm just going to put this out. Okay. All right, I got that out. So, what's happening? It's testing that trend line, and we'll see if it breaks. 920 crossover would be bearish here. I would expect that to fall right through VWAP, right through the 50 SMA, and test this 1079. But, you know, the bulls are pretty zealous on this one. This is a big... Let's look at the big picture again. We're coming off a 200 SMA bounce, so it's going to be normal for little pullbacks. This stock could still close at the high of day. This is a ton of volume, almost 3 million volume traded, and you can see what it's done. The last time it traded around 3 million volume, it just built up for this massive spike before earnings. That was before earnings. Now we're at an after earnings play. So this thing's got a ways to retrace and breaking out of this triangle. So momentum is in the bulls' favor. So we don't get, you know, too excited that this is going to form a head and shoulders yet. We really want confirmation, and we're not going to trade the head formation. I mean, we could have. This is kind of a little bit of a tweezer top, and we could have entered short, but we know that this trend line is our support, so we're watching out for that. We do not want to get stuck. Do not want to get stuck having to cover fairly quickly. So that's just conservative trading. Yep. It's a blend of things, guys. It's patterns, it's the candlesticks, it's finding angular momentum, support, find these add these fib lines. These might, you might not like these at all. I personally love them because it gives me, an area of what to expect. I know when I first started trading, I had very rough, poor technical analysis, and I didn't know when to take profit because I didn't have everything mapped. And you guys can see I can map these things out fairly quickly now. Such as OPHT. This is not something I'm interested in looking at. Just because of the volume, and it made a high a day, but so what? Same with ASM. ASM made a high a day as well. Just earnings. There's no volume in these candles. 10,000 shares. That's not exciting. It is not fun to trade. Look at this. None of this is volatility or momentum. So hits the high a day scanner. Look at those. You'll know right away. Do I want this? All right, guys are calling for here. Good old here is back. You can see right here it broke down out of this triangle. What happened? It went down even below this fib level, got back up. Really, volume came in. Look where volume came in, right above here. Really started to come in. You got the 920 crossover back here, and volume picked up and then exploded past this fib level, custom fib level. So here, you guys are calling for 1650 on here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have that. I'm going to fill out my fib tool a little better. There's only so many lines it'll let you put in. I wish it would let you put in more. So think or swim if you're listening. Increase the limit for the fib tool so that I can add more grids. You can see all these different channels and patterns I've had. We've traded here this week, a little bit last week. And so now we have a pivot point on here from the breakout. And this is kind of where it started to pick up again. I'm going to remove a few lines. All right, it broke out of this as well. Look at this channel. So look at that. There's our other channel. Our triangle got bigger, and it broke out, and that's a lot of Momo. And it's yeah, it's ripping. Look at this. Let's look at these candles. Turtle Beach. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, look at that. 150,000 shares bought. Let's see. So, obviously, buy at the 9 or feel the pain and burn of buying a top of a candle. You just don't do it. You just don't do it unless you're really good with hotkeys and watching level 2. Then And the guys were even saying level 2 didn't even show these buys coming in, so it came in a split second. Some supercomputer somewhere was ready to place a trade at that level, and you know, you got to look at time and sales. You know, look at time and sales and see where that big buy is. So, you know, this one could easily just stair step and not touch the 9 for 5 or 6 minutes. But what I'm going to try to do, or attempt to do, is look at, I'm going to try to find another retracement. So I'm actually going to clear this out. I'm actually going to clear my whole drawing set. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to go to the next level here to see if we can get some stops. I guess I'll go down to the doji. Okay, look at that. Makes sense. Look at the chart. Where are we at? 1657. Got a little bit above it, but like a magnet, it went up to it and stopped. Right? Here's that 50% level. Let's zoom out and look at it again. Let's make this make sense. Last significant low, last significant high. Draw your fib tool to there. 50% is yellow. Got below it, got back above it, and now we're getting volume. And you can see when here gets volume, it rips, and it's ripping. So the only thing you can do with a stock like this is really what you should do on all your stocks with day trading, is wait for this to come back and test this pivot point trend line, or test the 9. You have two options. Gotta watch level 2 time and sale, see what happens, and wait for the bid and ask to contract on here, because the bid and ask is going to be very wide, and when it gets tighter, that's showing buyers and sellers are agreeing. There's more shares changing hands, and that's the time when you want to get in, when that bid and ask gets tight at an area like this at the 9 or at the support. So I'm just taking a moment, guys, to look at the different streams. I'm checking out Twitter, Stock Twits, in the trade room. I'm actually going in the swing trade room. It looks like some guys made some 10, 15 cent scalps on here, which is great. You know, it's great. You know, maybe this is going to form a head and shoulders. We'll have to kind of see. Oh, yeah, CT, I haven't set up my chart like that. I really should. I need to add that. I know Lucian does that. I have no excuse for why I don't use it. You know, I think it would be fine to add. I already have a ton of lines in my chart. What's a couple more, right? So, I'm gonna check futures real quick. Actually, hang on. I see something on here. I believe this was on Yep, this was on the gap scan today. And below 50,000 shares for the most part. So that's not, I mean, you might be able to, if you like the pace of this, you might be able to, trade something like that. But for me, this is not enough volume to. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not. It's not a tool that I use, and the tool I kind of like developed. It's like everybody develop their own style and figure out. But I'll look more into OHLC, which is open high low close. Maybe adding that to my chart setup. Typically, I have a different chart setup, guys, where I've got some lower indicators as well, and I don't have them up because it doesn't look good on the stream to pack everything in here. So futures, lots of volume. It's back at VWAP. We'll see. It broke out of the down channel, out of the down wedge. It might be really respecting this that trend line. So I'll have to look. I'm still well in the green with this trade. So my stop is really going to be above this level, this 217, 218 level on my call spread. I just need it basically to trade sideways or down, and I make money in both directions because of the time expiration on options. So that's why bear call spreads are so good, because you make money in stock trades both ways. It gives you better odds, right? So let's see if this 45-degree line holds. If it does, then we have a potential, this wedge becomes irrelevant, and we have a potential ascending triangle situation maybe, where potentially price will bounce in this level off this trend line and then push up for the next run, which is very possible, because anything can happen and will happen in the world of the stock market. Ain't it grand? So let's look at ADMP. ADMP, lots of old lines, algo-driven candlesticks. Looks like some funds or retail bought after earnings, so must have been good. But in a trading range, hit the high day scanner, 22 million float, and nothing too excited. I'm going to check out the swing trades real quick. So Target, let's look at Target again. Target broke out of this triangle. It has their dividend, and it really needs to go full bull. Really needs to get out of that price level. We'll see. Maybe it's an earnings run up situation. There's a lot of stocks that are red today, so the swing trade watch list is looking not so great yet, but that's to be expected with what the futures are doing. A lot of those alerts haven't fired off, and they will later. The guys are watching here. Let's go back to here, and let's see what price is doing. So price does not. All right, in the last couple minutes, price is testing this pivot point. So let's see if volume comes in. Let's see if volume comes in. And, you know, there's some risk reward here, buying at the 9 and selling at 650. But this could also be a good long position for even making a little bit more money, but we got to see if it really proves itself. We need a candlestick to close 50% or better above the 9 to signal a good entry, and we'd like to see some volume, which we don't have yet. So that is the setup. This could potentially be creating another head and shoulders, or it's another trend line that I'm missing, such as something like that. Oh, I missed the top of that. I mean, I've got the bottom, roughly, but we don't have a top yet. We already know that it broke out of a triangle like so. So we'll have to see if this holds. Right now it's not holding. Somebody in the trade room is talking about CLWT. Let's check it out. All right, look, it bounced. Look where it bounced, right off that 490, right off that price level. Crap for volume, just one candle above 50,000. So, but that's all right. This could be just a light volume run up. And actually, let's extend this. There you go. I extended my trend line. So it bounced off the fib level, off the trend line. That's your pivot point. If I had extended that into the distance, I would have actually saw that right away. I noticed I stopped it right there, but that's because I created this this triangle here, right? You guys see it? Hopefully you can see that. And so now we got price action off that trend line, and we'll have to see now. It did break that right angle too, approaching that 50% major retracement level. So we'll have to see if it hits that level again and blasts above it, trade sideways on it. This could make another play for 632 today, and at that point, you know, maybe it creates a inverse head and shoulders, maybe, or somewhat of a double top. I mean, looking at the hourly candles, you've got a potential double top situation, maybe a little bit of a bearish Rami, but let's just see what it does. It's already kind of, this 50 SMA is kind of a, you can see on the 1 minute chart as well that this pink line is a 50 SMA. That's another pivot point I look at for long and short entries and resistance. So let's see it get above VWAP in that 50 SMA, and I you know, we might get some volume, but it's approaching 11 o'clock, so volume will start to slow down. Most of the volume, as you guys know, is traded in the first couple hours of market, and then it kind of chills out. So, and you can even just see it with the high day Momo scanner. It's quiet. So here is just wow. Yeah, here is just wow. There it is, guys. So I took my eyes off of it. What do you see? Massive volume. And this is where you would have entered. You would have just bought this candle. You would have saw level 2 going crazy. The bid and ask would have got really tight. Really tight is, you know, anywhere from 5 to 8 cents probably on this stock, when typically it's, 10 to 15, maybe even 20 at times. When you see the bid and ask start to widen in a doji like this, that's where a lot of people are taking profit. And you can see, it was matched with 100,000 shares sold, but there's still some longs here. This broke out of an ascending triangle. So maybe a back test to the top of the triangle and then a push to 1757. This is the stock right now. This is where everybody's at. So here's the only thing with volume. Looks like somebody got filled at 1632. So kudos to you. Look at that. That's a perfect entry. Sold at 1703. Awesome. Oh, I can't wait till I get my setup over here, guys, so I could be trading with you guys. I'd be trading these. Lucian doesn't like to multitask and trade and talk and share charts and type in the trade room, but I'm a father of two, and I'm a master of multitasking, so I'd be smashing some hotkeys today on this one. So that's all right. We'll do it another day. Once I get my monitor and my arms set in, I'll be good to go. And that will be exciting. So a bunch of you guys are getting in the 1660s on here. I like it. That's support. 1660s on here is pretty good because you've got 17 as resistance, and that's probably going to keep getting smacked, right? These are kind of nice bodied candles. 1670 is really the support right now. It could go as low as 1660, which is just above this fib level. So 1659, a bunch of you guys are scalping this today. That's awesome. Good job, Thien. You're the man. 500 shares. 26 cents. Adds up. Guys, so it's such good psychological for... Hey, thanks, CT. It's such good psychological positive reinforcement to just book wins. 25 cents, 30 cents. This thing moves dollars, but, who cares? Book your green. Feel good. And look at this thing. So right now we need here to close at 16.98 or above. So really 17. A close of $17 on here would be mega good. You got volume starting to step up. Like to see this get 50,000 shares traded. And it didn't quite hit 50. But let's see what this next candle does. See if we can close at 17. It's going to happen fast, guys. Watch the bid and the ask get super tight. Yeah, there's many ways. Here we go. So the bid and ask getting tighter, and volume is at over 50,000. Bam. So this is your play to 1750. This is where you want to take profit. 1725. Some people taking profit at that, that quarter mark. That's normal. Yeah, that's a great thing about, not all these stocks are going to follow futures down, but, wow, which futures are down 20 points right now, 20 handles. That's nice. Getting paid on that spread. All right, so this should still push up for 1750. Take profit before that. It might blow through it, but sell into strength. If you bought at the 9 and got filled like some of our guys did at 1760s, 1770s, sell at the next resistance level. And then, get back in. Book your profit or sell half. At least book some green and wait for this to retest. So 17. Let's see what this is going to print. Hopefully this prints 1750, 1745. Would be nice. Kind of got a neutral candle here. Oh, no, there we go. Over 100,000 shares. But bears are trying to push it down. That might be it for this little mini run. It looks like it's going to back test the 9 again. It looks like it's very likely to back test the 9. Double top on the hour. Yeah, that's what I was watching before, right? Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you could see that hourly candle at 1750. That's a good catch. That's a strong resistance zone. This is very strong resistance zone. So 1750, be very wary. We didn't print an hourly candle above it, right? And did we even print a daily candle above it? No, we did not. Of course we didn't. So daily candle looking really strong. Let's see, what was the top volume on this? 17 million. Wow. We're only at 3, so it's kind of light volume in relativity to the, you know, breakout days after earnings. But price action's everything, right? I mean, these are tradable candles above 50,000 shares, in my opinion. And trade the charts. As long as you got decent candles, 50,000 share candles here and there. Obviously, there's some, you know, distribution candles that are going to be lower, you know, in the 10, 20, 30,000. But this is testing the 9 right here. And I'm not sure what tool you're talking about. Maybe you can post a link. Yeah, it's possible here's gonna form a head and shoulders on the minute. I mean, at this point, not yet, but you know, it actually could come down and do this, but we don't want to speculate on anything like that yet. So far, the 9 is king. Look at, I mean, no candlesticks closed below the 9. They have not closed below the 9. Here's another thing that I like to do. I'll show you guys real quick. The possibility of this is really the majority up channel, right? Price got above it for a little bit, but for the most part, price is not breaking this up channel. It did a little bit here, got massive volume, and then went back to the top of this. So now you've got your, let me extend this. Oops. I meant to extend it, not to lead it. Damn. There we go. So there's your channel on here. So here looks like it, yeah, it wants to test that 1750. So here it comes. Here it comes, 40,000 shares. We had 50 before. It's trying. These are bullish candles. These are bullish candles. 1750. Let's see it. 1745. 1757. There it is. There's our line. Oh, it's pushing through it. Could doji back down, so be ready with the hotkeys. This is where I would sell into strength. If I got filled at the 9 down here, I'm selling at 1770 for sure. Once I start to see that doji, I'm probably going to end up selling 1760, 1750. But it, you know, it's also at the top of this channel. So let it retest. Let it retest the 9. Let it retest the bottom of the channel. So it retested the bottom of the channel at 10:30. 10:45. So probably in the next 3 or 4 minutes, it'll start to pull back a little bit. Maybe we'll see this, you know, you can see these little mini flags like this, you know, but maybe not. There's a lot of volume here at 100,000 shares. That's kind of a big push up to the next level type volume. As long as it doesn't get matched with selling volume at the 1757 level, then I wouldn't be concerned. But if we got a minute candle with the same amount of selling volume, I would be looking for this to flag back down to the bottom of this channel here. So it's kind of what we're looking at right now on that. Check the trade room real quick and see. Yeah, so if there's huge sellers at 18, that's, you know, going to scare people away, but sometimes they get gobbled up, right? Okay, let me check my... I'm going to check my ES chart real quick and put it over here. There it goes here. Close above 1757 would be bullish. Need to print, but it's still at the top. It'd really have to push out of this trend line again and make a move to 1858 quick. I'm also looking at futures down here, so it looks like it's just fanning out, which is fine. It hasn't, futures hasn't closed above 2720, which is my stop. I'll take profit there. Can always re-enter later. It's always another trade. So if you guys are watching the stream, you're not a member, check us out. BullishBears.com. This is our live trading room. We got people hanging out in here, trading, helping each other. Entries and exits, looking at level 2. Everyone's helping everyone out. We're very different than a lot of other trading communities because it's we're a true community where everybody's really helping each other, and you know, everyone's got everyone's back, kind of looking for. So while I'm doing the stream like this, you know, people are talking about different trades that they're in, swing trade room is the same way. It's very much a family type feel, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. We're really happy with the community we built. So definitely come check us out. Try us out for $10. And I think you guys, you know, if you guys have been members of other trade rooms, you might be a little surprised at how different we are. So here we go. Looks like here is kind of topping out at the top of this channel. And this doji right here, that made a high a day. That's the watch me candle. This is where you'd be, you know, considering, is this going to pull back below the 9 or not? It looks like it may. It looks like it may. Now we got a candle closing on. We got you know, what we'd want to see is we'd want to see the selling volume decrease, right? Kind of just like here. Selling volume decrease and then buying volume increase for a push to this 1858 level. And that 1858 level is pretty close to the 1862. This should actually be 1862. Make that a little more accurate. There you go. Couple pennies, but we can spare them when we're close. Hey, thanks, Golden. Appreciate it. What are you guys watching? Some of you guys are watching Z-San. I still think here's pretty awesome. These candles are killer, man. They're 25, 30-cent candles. But again, buy at the 9. Buy at the 9. Momentum stock has not had a warning candle close below the 9 yet. And look at the decreasing in selling volume, the steady buying volume. That's a pretty good sign. We're at the top end of this channel for quite a while now, riding the 9. At some point, this is getting very close to 1862. That's 100% retracement. It might fizzle out before it, but this is where you'd be expecting action to slow down. Maybe slow down for the day. Z-San. Nice size. Nice volume. And Z-San. These are your fib levels. Roughly. These are very rough. But I bet you there's actually a gap. Let's look at the daily. It's probably, yeah, look at the gap. So maybe going to fill the gap. 50% retracement, but earnings are later. So, you know, holding swing trades over earnings is gambling. That's for investors, not for traders. For traders, that's gambling. Unless you're trading some type of, you know, iron condor or butterfly or some type of spread with options, that's a different story. So Z-San looking pretty good. Broke out of that triangle. It's really been riding the 9 and the 20 pretty steady. This is your momentum line. And you could even say that this is your channel. This could potentially be a rising wedge, so just be aware that could break out. Yeah, 5 is resistance, pretty heavy right here. Just be aware this could pull back to the bottom of this channel. Look what it did last time. It made it stopped closing above. It couldn't get a close above 465, 467, and then it pulled back to the 9. This spends a lot of time not closing above 5. You can expect a pullback, but it's at 503. It's at 508. That's a lot of volume. That's a 50,000 share candle. So let's see if this is a top out candle. Wow, it's already at 100,000 shares. So, okay, so this is going kind of parabolic now. Now you have a new pivot point. This is your next pivot point right here. Closed above $5, psychological 5. This is a lot of people are going to take profit here finally. Let's see if how this volume candle, the volume candle stays below 30,000. That could just be, you know, light sellers but still strong bulls. I'd like to find a minor retracement on Z-San, but I mean, it's just been such a dropping like a rock. It's not really showing me until it makes a high a day here and rolls over. I can't do a minor Fibonacci retracement on it. So that's just the way that's going to have to go. I'll just have to be patient on that. Let's go back to here, because here tested the bottom of that channel. There it is. Okay. Volume hit close to what it was the last time that it flagged, although it didn't really hold. So we're closing below the 9. This could be maybe a head and shoulders. And then, you know, If it breaks a right shoulder here, it would come back down to 1660. Yeah, so when it sucks. So that's kind of how I manage risk. Momentum stock, buy at the 9. Unfortunately, I take losses too, like everyone else, because I'm, actually everyone does. And the way that I have to take my losses is, if I get multiple candles closing below the 9 on something that's this far overextended, then you got to get stopped out. You just get stopped out. And, if you bought, another way to help you avoid it is find these channels, right? Here's a channel. If it's at the top of the channel and, right here, you could see that for the last 4 or 5 candles, it couldn't get above 1790. It's at the top of the channel. Now you've got a candle closing red on the 9. You got your candle closed below it on the 20. Didn't really make a hammer, just kind of a spinning top. You got these doji spinning tops at the 9 and 20, but now you've got candle separation below the 20 on the 1 minute, 20 EMA. So now you're looking at your next support is now you're out of the channel. Your next support's the 50 SMA and the 1660 level. So, let's go back the last time. So this could potentially be the rollover part where it plays a game between 1, 2, 3 fibs. Where's VWAP? So you got 1, 2 VWAP's in the second. So you could actually see this go as low as maybe $16 here. On the 5 minute, the volume is not increasing in selling, which is a plus. But the 5 minutes pulled right back to the 9. So look for another entry here. Look for another entry on this. So where's that in retrospect? It's the 50 SMA. So look for this pivot point. This could be fanning out. This could be pivoting here. There's your right angle. And here's your kind of volume triangle, right angle. So just kind of going back and reading the chat. I got lost in my charts for a little bit. So this is the story with here. We'll see if it breaks this right angle, it gets back above the 920. How many waves do we have here? 1, 2, 3. This was really one giant 3-1. So we could get 2 down waves here. We'll have to see. This actually might end up making a head and shoulders. We'll have to see if the volume comes in. Again, kind of like 30K volume. That's kind of like your distribution. Guys are accumulating it a little bit at this level. See this 50 SMA? This might be the next pivot point. We'll have to see. It's at 40,000 right now. It's kind of getting pushed back down by the bears. Let's see if this pivot trend line here fails. It might be good. It might hold. It'll trade in this channel now, right? And what I would look to see is I'd look to see here do this and then break out, test this. Former support becomes resistance, and then maybe that's where we get our 100% retracement today. So this is all still very possible. So we end up getting in that you know, the 1761 ends up being the resistance level. Maybe we get some volume pop and we'll have it play out like that. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to take a break. Yeah, so you guys were just asking about here. I think I just broke that down pretty well. I do think this 1660 is pretty strong right here, so we'll see. We'll see if it trades in this channel, like I just said. But I'm going to take it easy, guys. I'm going to go take a look at my SPY spread. Hope you guys liked the teaching, training. Hopefully I'm helping you guys with some entries and exits. I'm fairly confident calling these support and resistance and pivot areas, and hopefully in the next, I get used to doing these pre-market streams and live streams for you guys. I can actually start trading once I get my other monitor set up and my arms for my monitors. I'll be good to go at my standing station and offer you guys some more value with what we do. That's what we're always looking to do. But guys, definitely check us out, bullishbears.com. We do so much more than this. There's our free courses. There's our private content we do for members only. Some webinars. We do webinars, and you know, we share our trade idea screens. So the high a day scanner, the gap scan, provide you guys with swing trade and day trade alerts right through Thinkorswim. We send them out every night. Been kind of focused on the scanner today, the trade idea scanner, but just gonna pop over to target. This is a swing trade that is getting close. It's getting close to breaking out this level, so we'll have to look and see if it's gains some more volume and momentum. That would be really awesome. So I'm going to cut it short here, guys. Thank you for joining me this morning. I will definitely be doing this again for you guys in the future, and we'll check you out on the other side.